Emergency service providers work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Our main purpose is to save lives.
That's what we train to do.
Somebody dies or somebody gets saved.
For our first responders, the moment the call for help comes in,
4 people in the water from a sunken vessel.
the race against time to save a life begins.
How sick is this patient?
It is a life and death situation.
Through unprecedented access
His body's starting to shut down.
We need to do something quickly.
It is going to be painful.
and intimate interviews,
It'll certainly stick with me.
in this series, we're telling their stories.
It is a privilege to be able to help people. It's not something I ever take for granted either.
To change a patient's outcome feels amazing.
This week on First Responders,
Unconscious, 225-mile-an-hour hit from a car.
a drag racer crashes into a concrete barrier at massive speeds.
That sort of impact, man, that can do some devastating stuff to your body.
Into the river.
A jet boating accident leaves a man trapped overnight in a swollen river.
He's in the trees, standing on the
Was that the guy on the orange? Yeah.
I don't think I've been that pleased to see anybody ever, apart from my wedding day when I saw Sharon.
And an inflatable dinghy breaks down,
Hey, he's still rowing. Going absolutely nowhere.
way out of its depth.
Middle of the channel, southwesterly wind, effectively heading out to sea, and a motor that would never cope in these conditions.
A life-threatening call has just come into the Auckland Rescue Helicopter Trust. There's been a high-speed collision at Napa Auto Parts Dragway.
Someone's crashed their car at 225 miles per hour. Unconscious, 225-mile-an-hour hit from a car. Oh my God, that is...
With such extreme speed involved, getting to the dragway as quickly as possible is critical.
Got an approximate GPS, but we know where the raceway is.
Yeah, I know where the raceway is, yep.
Heli will be able to land at the end of the strip.
Okay, cool.
There you go.
Guys secure?
Stand by one.
All good.
When a person, whether it's on a motorbike or a go-kart or a dragway racing car, can suddenly come to a stop hitting something big, you get that sudden impact that the whole body takes, and the brain, their reaction to that huge trauma is just stoppage of breathing. And if that's not sorted and corrected, it can then lead to other things.
Not sure if you heard, Aaron, we can land on the end of the strip itself.
You get a massive dump of adrenaline, which can shoot your blood pressure up and create all sorts of pressures within your brain. And I appreciate these guys are pretty well PPE'd up, but that sort of impact, man, that can do some devastating stuff to your body.
So priority is going to be starting pre-oxygenation with one pair of hands.
We got reports coming in that he was unconscious with a GCH of 3, so completely non-responsive. And Kerry and I were thinking at that point that he may need a whole bunch of things done at once.
So yeah, Aaron, I suppose we'll take the packs over. If you could get the trauma config set up, like quick smart, so as we move to the helicopter, we'll just go straight onto that.
Yeah, sounds good.
So just confirm you said that they had made room for us to land.
Sounds like at the end of the strip there, Grant. Probably Heli will be able to land at the end of the strip. Yep.
Yeah, down in the runoff area there. Yeah. I've been down there in a car, but not on a helicopter.
They'd cleared it, they'd stopped all the cars going, obviously, by then.
There's lights down the strip.
Looks like there's cars at the far end, by the way.
It's like a little runway, so ideally for us it's perfect, but it needs to be coordinated and made sure it's safe and that there's no dangers and that we don't make anything worse.
So really, apart from the hill and the low scrub, I can't see anything else down there at the moment. I guess we'll land right in that turnaround area where those guys in the orange shirts are running around.
Secure rear, clear right door?
Yeah, clear door, mate.
Where the right door's coming back.
Gears down, brakes are on, 3 greens.
Copy. And we're all secure rear.
Okay, so I'm going to go this side of orange shirt guy.
Copy.
In between orange shirt guy and the light poles.
Caution and debris are now 3 o'clock. Clear to swing tail as required.
I'll stay this way for a sec while we watch that debris.
Copy.
Okay, tail coming round now.
Roger. All wheels are on.
Roger, coming down.
We got met by one of the St John guys and one of the event medics.
Jesus, look at that thing. How are you going?
He's rousable now and he's sort of looking around.
Okay.
He apparently at that stage was awake and talking, so we were straight away, whew, that's good.
Initial GCH of 3.
3.
We're probably making it 2 now. They've got a line and his pulse rate's up. So that sort of thing.
We'll keep him at a 1 until we know otherwise.
Yeah.
And you could see a bit of the wreckage of the car going over. Didn't even look like a car, it was just a big engine on some twisted metal.
Hello. Hey, how you going? I'm Kerry, one of the doctors. How you going?
They got expert teams with the fire and raceway guys.
How you going?
This is Dave.
Hey, Dave.
He's doing about 200.
Make sure that the airway's open and they're breathing, removing them and then getting them into a stretcher in the ambulance. And
He's doing about 240k when he hit the wall. Has then travelled another quarter of a mile through the sand trap with his car's in. He's rolled. He initially had a GCS of 3 for about 15 minutes. Couldn't really get to him to get anything, any vitals or anything on him at that stage because of his roll cage, etc.
the event medic explained that he had been unconscious and he was now alert, didn't quite remember everything.
He initially had a heart rate of 150, that's down to 100 now. His stats were average, but that's because I think he was so...
Trapped in there, eh? Not tacky, good radial. Dave, is it? How are you feeling?
He says he's good.
Do you have any pain?
His abdo's soft, his chest's clear, all his limbs are intact. I think the only thing is he's knocked himself out.
Bashed himself in the head, yeah. Dave, do you know where you are at the moment?
Pretty out of it. It was huge hit, huge trauma, which by then had happened 20 minutes before, approximately.
Do you know what day it is? No. Do you know who we are? Okay, good.
You could see that it wasn't all quite making sense. There was certainly no external blood loss. Possibility of internal injuries was still probably reasonably high at that point.
The Auckland Rescue Helicopter team have rushed to the scene of a high-speed crash at the Napa Auto Parts Meremere Dragway.
Do you know what day it is? No. Do you know who we are? Big deep breath. Good one.
Getting in that car and hearing the nitro engine start up, I just loved it. You just on a adrenaline high of wanting to get this car down that track as fast as you can and put on a show for the crowd.
I normally help Dave get ready, so we buckle him up on all his safety gear and pray most of the time that he gets down there safe and sound.
And the engine that we've got in there is running the nitromethane, so that's running anywhere between 2,000 and 2,500 horsepower. And I've got to try and drive it straight down that track. I've got no memory of the accident. From what I can gather, the car left really good. And it was on what we call a march, which is a good straight run, until we got out to probably not quite halfway, and the car was slowly drifting into the other lane. And I turned it hard to the right. It didn't want to turn, so I probably took my foot off the accelerator, and then the front wheels apparently were off of the ground already, and it probably sat down on the ground, and it turned instantly straight to the wall. Nothing I could do about it. It was just full lock straight into the wall.
After he'd hit the wall and then I heard the engine rev up, I knew that that was not a good thing.
At that point there, we were probably around about 225 k's an hour, something like that. And then it was jammed hard against the concrete wall from there all the way past the finish line. There was no steering left in the car. It was just on a run of its own.
Thoughts go through your mind, like, is he alive? What damage has been done to him?
I was out to it, and my foot had jammed it on the throttle, and then we crossed over and into the sand trap and just went end for end. It ended up about 50 or 60 metres away from there, down the end of the track, and the grass and that there.
Went down to the end of the track not knowing what to expect. All I saw was just a seat with Dave sitting in it, and the damage that I saw of his car and just seeing him sitting there in the seat, it just didn't look very good to me at all. Crew guys cut the roll cage, we've got to get him out. And then I heard him talk, so I thought, oh, thank goodness for that.
Apparently I woke up and told them virtually to piss off and leave my car alone, not knowing that it was just a complete wreck of a mess of the car, and then went back out to it again.
St John's were with him, and then they just tuned in and said that he just needed more care and that they didn't want him to go via road, so they just called in the helicopter rescue.
Hey, how you going? I'm Kerry, one of the doctors.
This is Dave.
Hey, Dave.
He was doing about 240k when he hit the wall.
There's this guy awake and talking. Pretty out of it.
Do you know what day it is?
No, really.
No, do you know who we are?
You could see that it wasn't all quite making sense. He probably had a decent concussion, a shake of the brain. That made sense because he was unconscious earlier. The event medic explained that there was nothing obviously apparent through the primary and secondary surveys.
Big deep breath. Good one. Sounds pretty good, yeah. A little feely belly. Any pain when I push on there? That feels okay. You're moving your legs pretty well, so it's good. So pelvis is pretty much fine. Can you feel me touch your toes? Yep.
We've got to be cautious of their spine, their C-spine, you know, make sure there's no injury to that, because that sort of impact, you can sometimes get a disruption in your spinal cord, but it seemed like, on the face of it, that was okay.
Can you wiggle them for me? Good, and this one? Good, yeah. That's all looks pretty good.
While there was no obvious injuries and no immediately life-threatening injuries, it was still cause for concern.
Yeah, so we'll go Waikato. Yeah, pretty good mechanism. Looking at the side, look at this, what that car looks like, yeah.
Your body can't sort of just hit something, roll for a long time and over a half kilometre come to a stop without something going on inside, you know.
I'm surprised there was enough car to trap him.
He's pretty well protected in the rock.
In the sort of cage.
He's got a complete head over cage.
It looks like it's done the job, eh? Right.
So for us then it's a matter of making a plan to get him into our helicopter.
So we've got on a scoop here, we've got lots of hands. So
we can drive over as close as you like.
Yeah, we'll drive right down, then we'll pick up, put in, and then we'll unscoop him. What's your name driving? Neil. Just as you look at the left-hand side of the aircraft, Neil, one of the pilots should direct you.
The trip is quite a fair way from here to Waikato Hospital, so it was just a great relief to know that they were taking him there straight away and going to do whatever they could to help him as much as possible.
While there are no obvious signs of injury, intensive care paramedic Marcel Driesen and pre-hospital and retrieval medicine doctor Kerry Holmes are still extremely worried.
Just keep him comfortable and awake and talking and prepare for any worsening of his condition.
So, Dave, any pain anywhere? No.
He was pretty stoic, but far out, man. Huge hit, huge trauma.
Make sure you tell us if you do get sore, OK? It's really important.
Kerry reiterated in particular that you need to let us know because, you know, those little things, pain somewhere, ribs, tummy, leg, whatever, those are indicators of your body telling you something's wrong, clearly.
Okay. On 3, 1, 2, 3. Pass down, pass down, pass down, and we're going to take the scoop off.
We explained to Dave that it was around about a 20-minute flight down to Waikato Hospital, and we would look after him.
Take care, buddy. We'll look after him. See you soon, mate. Thanks, Al, for your help. That's awesome. I'll put this on for you. Hearing protection. If we need to talk to you, we can, man.
Guys secure?
Hey, Pep, secure.
Yep, secure. They're on the left there.
Your left.
Okay, coming up.
That was kilometres an hour, not miles an hour, rather.
Initially, there was a bit of confusion around the speed, and we got it as 225 miles an hour. And then it was decided, no, it was 225 kilometres an hour, which is still phenomenally fast. Either way, it was huge, and to survive that as well as he did, it was remarkable. Yeah, absolutely remarkable.
Did you get a photo of the car?
I did.
Oh, good.
I got a couple, yeah.
Could you send it to me? Because I'll show it to the people in the resus page.
Yeah, cool, me.
I've been to less impact speed hits that people have, you know, been terribly injured or even deceased, you know, as a result of.
Hey, how you feeling? Yeah, good, mate. Are you in pain anywhere? Nah, all good, mate. No worries.
So for him to be talking to us after that was just amazing, yeah.
We don't want you being stoic. We want to hear if you're in pain. It's important.
Yeah, it's really important, but...
No? Good. Okay.
Still remember what day it is?
Units, purple call,
Great. Well done, mate. No medical history, eh?
Not that we got at all, yeah.
ED Waikato receiving.
Waikato, this is Westpac Rescue 1, our copy. We're coming to you from the Mary drag strip. We have on board a 9-year-old male.
Communicating with the hospital of the severity and nature of the injury or medical condition of patients that we're carrying is pretty important, especially for the critically injured and the seriously injured people.
He was in a car travelling 220 kilometres an hour, hitting a wall and then continuing on for some time.
Someone like him automatically puts out a trauma call to the emergency department team. They can get all their right surgeons and start readying theatres.
He was wearing full PPE, initially unconscious with a GCH of 3. On our arrival 20 minutes later, the GCH of 14. He's travelling status 2 now. Odds all within normal limits. We'll be with you on the pad in 8 minutes so we can have an orderly with the orange trolley to meet us.
Copy that, Westpac 1. Trauma call will be placed. Through to resus, we'll have the trolley and attendant on the pad for your arrival. ED Waikato out.
Westpac 1 copy, thank you.
It just seems as though it's something I've watched on the news, that you see on the news. Okay, that was pretty serious.
Okay, just northern edge of Hamilton Township at 1,300 for Waikato Hospital with 5 on board.
But you don't comprehend because you weren't there. And that's what it feels to me, as though I wasn't there.
Roger, landing gears down 3 greens, knows it was what pipe.
I think he's lucky. It was meant to be. He's alive. They made all the right preparations, had all the right personal protective equipment, prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And every so often it goes wrong, but you come out as well as Dave did because of all those things that have been put into place, Practice, training, equipment, gear, people, support, It's amazing.
Just going to move you up into the hospital. So we're at the hospital because you had a crash.
Okay.
And you blacked out for a little bit, and we just want you to be checked out and make sure everything's okay.
We landed and transferred him across and through to the ED. They were quite astounded that he was in the condition he was, given the speed and everything.
All I can remember doing was putting on my fire gear and getting all my helmet and all my safety gear ready. I've got no memory of anything after that. 2 weeks later, I woke up down at Waikato Hospital. It broke 4 of my ribs on the right side. My right leg, the tibia plateau, smashed that all up, and then a severe brain injury. So I spent 3 weeks in Waikato Hospital before they moved me on to ABI. That was for the brain injury part of it.
He's come along such a long, long way. He's just worked so hard to get where he has, today.
I would say that I'm around about 85–90% to what I was before, prior to the accident. A little bit of a limp in the leg and that there. My drive to get better and be able to walk and be self-sufficient and that there was what just pushed me through it. I know for one thing, if I didn't have all the safety gear, I probably wouldn't be standing here.
For me, it's great that we were able to help somebody and then be astounded that he's done so well. That's immensely satisfying to know that they can continue on for another day and we've helped as best we could.
I am just so fantastically grateful that they turned up there. To have that in New Zealand is so great.
You couldn't praise them enough. They were just top-notch.
I'd love to get back into a car and drive it, but until I get into it, I don't know whether all that will come back to me and I'll rip my gear off and say, no, that's it, I'm out of here. I don't know.
I might let him. I might not. We just have to see how things run.
A jet boater missing for 24 hours in the swollen and fast-moving Rangitata River has just been found by a police-led search and rescue team. But he's stranded on logs, so it's up to GCH Aviation to rescue him.
Most rescues evolve dramatically en route, so we have to be prepared, obviously, for anything that comes to hand. I'm just really unsure about what we're going to arrive to at that scene.
Just one person in the jet boat?
One person believe in a jet boat.
The guy at Tom said it might be a bit hard to see the boat because it's in the tree.
So the other thing we might do, fella, is chuck a harness on it. If we get over the top of it, we can boom you down.
It depends where they are.
They described it as a winch and in a tree.
All right, we'll just see what's up when we get there.
What we usually do for a winch job is configure the inside of the machine and obviously put our harnesses and things on. Take out as much gear as we don't need to perform the winch, so that helps make the machine a lot lighter, which makes it a little more easy to manoeuvre for the pilot. Plan what we're going to do, have a discussion about it, and then execute that plan.
Wonder what the river's doing.
Well, it's flooded.
It'll be covered in mud. It wouldn't be good fishing conditions. No. Or white baiting. Or jet boating, evidently.
We had swollen rivers at that point of time. We knew that the weather overnight was cool, although the day itself was actually quite warm, so we were anticipating that he would be cold and unsure of any injuries that he may have.
Yeah, if you have a look in the riverbed, you should see 2 4-wheel drives out in the open, and the subject's about 30 metres from the middle of the stream.
Copy all. Is there room for us to land, or is it a likely winch?
No, definite winch job. He's stuck on debris right in the middle of the river.
We'll have to land
Copy
anyway
all.
to configure.
We'll have a circuit where we'll land, chuck the bed out.
I know how crook he is.
Since last night, yesterday, it's been overnight there.
Be hungry. I'd be hungry. Yeah.
Dinner taking a snack.
Winch down some snack bars. Here's the river.
2 4-wheel drives.
Yeah, yep. Got him. 2 o'clock close. Where's the boat? Oh, he's in the island, all right. Oh, is he the orange bit?
He's in the trees, standing on the
Is that
tree
the guy
tips.
in the orange? Yeah. I might just duck my head through those trees and just have a quick look. Yeah. Yeah. Would that be all right?
Yeah, totally.
All right.
Clear for doors?
Clear doors.
Probably, thank you.
Yeah, I'll just quickly duck over and then come back.
How's it going?
Good, good.
It's going to have a quick eyeball.
Yeah.
There's the fella there.
Yep.
Just the one on the blue shirt.
Yep, just one person, that's all he is.
Okay, I'll just get a photo to show the guys so we know where we're going to winch from.
I'm looking at the patient. He appeared fairly relaxed and didn't appear agitated, and he was sitting down, which is good. The risks involved are obviously anything that goes wrong during a winch is usually quite bad, and you're dealing with high water flow.
We're aware that the river's rising. We're concerned about the environment he's in. Obviously, he's been there overnight, and the other factors we're concerned about is the effects of the helicopter, the rotor wash. Is that going to create a problem for him? Is it likely to blow him around? Is it likely to create some of that debris to fall or move? So a lot of factors involved in that decision.
Well, we're just going to be cautious, don't want to blow them off.
Yeah.
So maybe similar height to the trees?
Tree tops.
Tree tops are out your side?
Yeah.
But just wherever you get a good reference, nosing in there, so...
Yeah, well, I probably wouldn't want to go too much higher than that, but...
Are we clear to boot?
Clear to boot.
Because the river's running very fast and high, the only option is to send St John Critical Care paramedic Brent Williams down the line.
Yeah, I've got that target inside now.
He's not wearing a wetsuit after deciding the log platform can hold his weight. But there are plenty of other hazards to deal with.
Clear to winch.
Watching out.
And your target?
Probably on the target. And yeah, forward feet. Yeah. Just forward 14, actually, you'll finish it.
Potentially it is a life and death situation, and we do have to have a lot of trust in each other. We've been together for a significant period of time, and I think, like in most team situations, you know, that's where you get the real benefit, and we certainly have that here.
Just hold it.
Almost here, coming up. 10 foot now.
So over 10 foot signal and a safety pause, continuing. And he's just making his way to the patient now. Weight coming on.
Hang on. Yep.
Weight is now off.
Richard.
So just hold that position.
Hold it.
Just stay on there, Brett.
Yep. You might want to let some slack off.
Yep.
This is really stable.
Is it?
I can happily come off. Unless you guys want to hang there.
I'm happy to stay.
Yeah, I'm happy to hang. Okay. I'll just make myself comfy.
Copy.
I might just unhook, because in case you guys move, I don't want to be pulled off. Okay?
Yep. Roger that, if you're comfortable there.
Richard, I'm off hook now.
Okay, I'm going to take it away from your head. Not too windy down there?
It's good.
How you doing? You've been here all night?
Yeah.
Are you cold?
Freezing until about half an hour ago. It's still a bit cold.
Are you okay with height?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
I don't think I've been that pleased to see anybody ever, apart from my wedding day when I saw Sharon. It was a big relief here. Where we live, they usually fly over our house, and I'd often thought I wouldn't mind a look in one of those one day. Little did I know I was really going to get a look in it.
He's not injured, he's just cold. Yep. Are you ready to take the weight? I'm going to stand up and stand him up.
Okay. I'm just taking a bit with the winch as they stand up. Are you happy there, Rob?
Yep. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, up gently and take the weight of 2. Up to take the weight of 2. And weight's coming on. Weight's coming on. Weight is now on. Have double thumb. Steady up. Clear the winch in.
Clear the winch.
Winching in.
You actually go up quite quick, I suppose, between the chopper lifting and the winch going up. It all happens quite fast, but it was actually quite good fun. I'd do it again any time. Not that I probably want to do it under these circumstances, but yeah.
Quite high, isn't it?
And approaching the skids now.
Roger.
Just
100 feet.
Steady left. Before you need to drop on those people.
Yep.
So that's the skids and safety forwards continuing. And booming in.
I'll just hook on to the safety strap.
Yep.
Yep, I'm on.
Okay, we can fly over to our sporting point if you like. Brent's out on the skids with me.
Yep. Drop a couple of mils of cable. Over the cable, yeah, cheers. Heavy?
So yeah, clear to move to the board point or staging area.
Roger.
John became stranded when trying to do a Hamilton turn, a manoeuvre which should bring a jet boat to a sudden stop.
In the excitement of it all, I'd pulled the key out of the ignition, probably just a tiny bit, enough to stop it turning. And then I realised, and just the same time the engine fired up, we hit the side of the tree and side on, and it was huge current, and it just flipped the boat like it was all over in probably less than a second.
He seems okay. We're going to shut down and give him a once over, and then just decide what he wants to do.
Yep.
Where's his boat? Is it under those logs? Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's not in it.
Just come down and it's hooked under, and he's failed.
We can't see it, but when we first got there, he was pointing down underneath him when we were asking where the boat was. So he's lucky. You wouldn't have even found him until the river went down.
I washed up against the logs that I was found on, and there was a real big swirly thing that was trying to pull me underneath the logs, and I managed to sort of catch on like this, and it took me all I had to drag myself up, even to get up to, my chest out of the water. And I looked round, the boat was coming, and it was sort of now or never type situation, and I managed to just get myself up out of the water. I just got my feet onto the log just out of the water as the boat smashed into it right at my feet. So I pretty quickly decided I wasn't going anywhere. I was stuck there.
So how are you feeling within yourself? Did you get any traumatic injuries or anything along those lines? Just cuts and bruises? And you end up in the water? Did you get wet?
It was. Yeah, no, it was under.
All right. So you didn't inhale anything like that?
Nah.
Do you have any medical conditions? Do you take meds for anything? For heart or lung or blood pressure? No, that's
Plenty of money. Still shaky, but I think it might be adrenaline.
Oh yeah, it'll be it. and the hairy winch.
He seemed pretty low-key about the whole thing and denied any medical issues or pain or dizziness or any things like that. However, being on a log overnight in the middle of a river can do some funny things to you.
Oh, stand up for a bit. Yeah, stretch out. You can take your jacket off now. I'm pretty sure you should be all right. Oh, stand up for a bit. Yeah, stretch out. You can take your jacket off now. I'm pretty sure you should be all right.
After spending an entire night trapped on a log in the Rangitata River, John is now out of harm's way, but his sudden collapse is alarming.
Just nice and relaxed, don't fidget. Your heart's going pretty quick. Don't feel short of breath or don't feel like you've got to catch your breath all the time? Yeah, I just have to put the heart leads on because your heart's not cranking, man. Around about 155, 96, 156, and his BP's cranked right up, but that's not surprising. What I'm going to get you to do is perch on this seat again, and I'm going to get the 12 lead, which just puts me putting a few more wires on you. Yep. Relax, no talking, you're allowed to breathe. I'm just going to see if you're lying or not with this. How old are you, mate?
57 in July.
I'm just going to have a look at this. Yeah, this rate's coming down a wee bit. So 160, 110, blood pressure, still tacky, sats at 97, temps 37.2, average, both years. So it's against what he's been, it's up slightly. So.
My heart rate was really high and my blood pressure was way up high and I was shivering quite a bit because where I was, there was a whole lot of trees up behind me and I didn't actually get into the sun until just after 12 and I was just so cold. Or even the next day, just now and again, you'd give a big shiver. I think your body was just so used to shivering, it took a while to stop.
Your heart rate's sort of cranking along, but it's understandable given what you've gone through. And you've been winched and that will do it. But what we want to do is lower appreciably before we can say, hey, it's all cool for you to go away and then face more stresses, which could crank it back up again.
Okay, everyone happy?
Yep.
So, Potsy. Ashburton Hospital, kind sir.
He did everything right. He didn't try to swim off the logjam, which, could have been quite hazardous for him. Probably a couple of things. He could have had a personal locator beacon attached to his person or his life jacket. And at least then, if he had activated that, we would have most likely been to him within the hour.
Oh, they got a wheelchair. Good stuff.
After John's ordeal, no one's taking any chances, so he spent 3 hours under observation before being released. While John checked out fine, the same can't be said for his boat.
It had a big branch had gone through the windscreen and into the boat, and it sort of had it pinned in the water. We got it out, and it's away being fixed. So hopefully in another month or so's time, it might be going again. So that'll be fun.
Now back with his family on a Canterbury farm, John remains grateful to everyone who joined the police search and rescue team who found him, including several of his mates and the GCH Aviation crew.
Top team, yeah, they do a great job, and life mightn't have been so good without them coming to get me, so...
A boat's in trouble on Auckland's Waitemata Harbour, so Coast Guard volunteer skipper Martin Taylor and his team waste no time launching the vessel Rescue Alpha.
Alpha, Coast Guard radio UHS.
Yeah, Coast Guard Alpha, copy. Just want to confirm that location.
Roger, so it's half a mile east of Browns Island, 36 degrees, 49.8 minutes. We're not sure if they're Coast Guard members or where they need a tow to due to language issues. So just want to make way for that position and find out what's going on.
Yeah, Roger, Coast Guard, that's all copied, underway.
Within New Zealand and anywhere around the coastline can change very quickly. It can be very calm at one point, can change very quickly and become very rough. If you haven't got a boat that's capable of handling those conditions, you really put yourself at risk.
So just outside the reef on the other side. Holding on? Holding on.
Straight down, right, going up.
We had very little information, and a lot of the time that's the case. We might have an approximate length of boat, colour of boat, but we didn't have a description of anything else apart from it was a 2.5 metre boat.
So again, outgoing tide and a southwesterly.
We knew that if he was on the east coast of Browns Island, he was heading down the bottom of Waiheke.
The job's been called in by a tugboat which is keeping watch on the broken down inflatable, but they're not resourced to take care of the rescue mission.
Anything on radar?
No, you've only got the vessel in front of us.
We had the coordinates, that general location. And once we actually got there, we realised that, well, there was no actual boats within the vicinity, with the exception, I think, of one, which was okay. So at that point is then when we sort of go back and sort of question the operations rooms, the information we've been given to say, look, is this correct?
Current position is 36 degrees 43 minutes, 0.2 south, and 174 degrees 50 minutes, 0.2 east over.
Okay, Hounds, let me get that in.
Roger, sir. That puts you just north of Rangitata, is that correct? Our vessel is a black and a yellow target, 20 metres long, over.
Oh, we're miles out, okay. It's right out in the channel, around the other side, so yeah.
You around hanging on?
That's an example of somebody giving a position which is miles wrong to where they actually are. Often done by maybe placing their cursor on the GPS. So we're probably about 6 miles different to what they've given us. So.
For a 2.5 metre dinghy, he's a long way from home.
The tug was purely a person just came across the dinghy on the water, so I guess in their first instance they thought, here's a small inflatable that is probably a lot further out to sea than it really should be.
Coast Guard Alpha, copy on one.
Yeah, it's there, over there, I reckon.
Kept on indicating that he was okay, so they couldn't really offer any assistance, and at that point is when they called Coast Guard and said, hey look, we've got somebody out here.
To your left is a little dinghy.
Oh, yeah. He's still rowing. Going absolutely nowhere.
Ready, go ahead.
Yeah, Coast Guard just confirming we are now on scene. A small white inflatable, 2.5 metre. Approximately probably a 2 to 3 horsepower engine. Gentleman is rowing and we're going to go to assist now.
Roger, thanks for that. It's all received. Keep us updated. Coast Guard radio out.
This is where a small inflatable should not be. Middle of the channel, southwesterly wind, effectively heading out to sea, and a motor that would never cope in these conditions as well.
When we found him, the tug had stayed with him, which was great, and he was rowing back towards Campbell's Bay. And he was going backwards, which is forwards from a dinghy's point of view, which means he was heading out to sea. So we had a situation where we've got a guy with no communications, he's not making headway, got an outgoing tide, southwesterly, which is blowing him offshore, and there's not a lot between him and Chile.
Okay. From Rescue Alpha, you copy?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, guys, thanks for your assistance. We'll carry this on from here, and looks like he does need some help to get back to shore.
Yeah, right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming out, Appreciate it.
I think he might have had the intention just to go fishing near the rocks and be fairly close. He had an outboard motor that he assumed was going to work okay, so in his mind he thought, well, I'm going to be pretty close, I don't need a lot. But really, he went out, apart from the life jacket, he really had nothing on board. It was probably an innocent mistake, not checking the weather or knowing what it is.
You okay?
Yes. No.
Okay.
The weather's closed.
Where did you come from?
From there.
Which beach? Takapuna? Rosse Bay?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And your motor is?
Yes, the engine out of work.
Yeah. You're a very lucky man. Because next stop would have been Chile.
And it really was blowing probably southwest, and it was increasing as well. So once we arrived and once we got him on board, the conditions probably got 10 times worse again. So he would have been just struggling from there on in.
Looks like he does need some help to get back to shore.
The Coast Guards rescued a man on Auckland's Waitemata Harbour who seems to have no idea what a close call he's had.
You're a very lucky man. Because next stop would have been Chile.
From the time once we arrived and once we got him on board, the conditions probably got 10 times worse again. So he would have been just struggling from there on in.
Now the Coast Guard need to get the man and his broken down boat to shore.
Usually towing a boat like that, especially given the sea conditions and the fact that the southwesterly was coming up, would have meant a pretty slow tow. So it was just easier to bring the thing on board.
Okay,
Coast Guard Radio, Rescue Alpha, sit rep.
Julian Rescue Alpha, Coast Guard Radio, go ahead.
Yeah, Coast Guard just advising we have the gentleman on board our boat and his small tender as well.
All that remains now is to find a workaround for the language barrier.
I thought he was Chinese, so I called a friend of mine, and who is Chinese obviously, and got him to talking to him.
Can you just ask him, please, where he launched his boat, where we can take him back?
My English is not good. My English is not good. I cannot.
Oh. He spoke a different dialect, a very thick dialect that my friend Terry couldn't understand.
This direction.
The team is still none the wiser about exactly where they're going, but they seem to be heading in the right direction.
So you got Murray's Bay?
Milford, then the next bay. Milford, the next bay.
Oh, Milford.
Milford. This is Milford, then
Milford.
the next.
And then we got Campbell's Bay.
Yeah.
Campbell's Bay. Then Rosso Bay.
No. Not that. Milford Bay, then the next bay.
Yeah, Castor Bay.
Our main purpose is to save lives, so we've got to make sure he's safe. So I went with him on the boat, make sure he got into shore okay, made sure he was fine, got in there and he went to get his truck. So while he was doing that, I thought, well, I might as well have a look, because the outboard looked really new. Why would that just stop? So I pulled the cover off, and the petrol was red. Now, 91 fuel is red, but these are two-stroke engines, and they require oil mixed in with the fuel, and then it goes green, and the fuel was red. Interesting enough, he had said to us that he had just replaced the engine 3 months ago because the other one had a problem of the same kind. So I suspect that he'd done the same thing, and the outboard had just seized.
You need to mix oil with your petrol.
Mix the...
Yeah, mix, yeah. Okay.
Using Google Translate, we communicated that he has to put oil in it. But yeah, it was interesting thinking how little he knew. The best thing I can recommend is a day skipper course. You know, they're simple, they're online, and it allows boaties just to get the basics sorted out. Okay, that's what this is for. I've got to watch out for those things. They'll save a lot of problems.
And with that practical advice, Jeff hitches a ride back to Rescue Alpha.
No, Jeff, you're off.
What's that?
You're off. We're doing a cruise change. Hey, thanks so much, guys.
Hey, really appreciate it. Thank you. He said he was very thankful.
Afternoon, Coast Guard. Gentleman is safely ashore at Castor Bay and ready for next task.
Roger, that's all received. Coast Guard radio out.
Next time on First Responders.
4 persons on board and the boat has sunk.
Every second counts.
As with people in the water, time really is of the essence.
As rescuers race to save 4 people just moments from drowning.
The prospects were not good, and there's a real sense of urgency.
Pristine golden sand beaches
They put the weight of the helicopter on that soft sand so it'll just sink in.
are no picnic for helicopters.
We don't tend to land on the beach because if we can't restart the aircraft, we've just got a $15 million aircraft that's been flooded.
Hello?
And an injured tramper.
I think I said to the guy, I was like, I'm heavier than I look. And he goes, I'm very strong, it's fine. And I was like, no.
Puts on a brave face when walking isn't an option.